This is the third video in our series of the complete exterior renovation series. In our first and second videos, you saw the work done to prepare the exterior walls, including all the protective layers needed for a successful stone veneer installation. In this third video, you will see the care and expertise taken to install beautiful stone that looks fantastic for a breathtaking effect. A&A Masonry, an award-winning company servicing the Greater Toronto Area and the Golden Horseshoe.
Okay, a lot of activity going on here. I took you and showed you some of the materials that we're using. Standing back, you can see the transformation of this renovation starting to really take place. We've got a scratch coat because we're doing on the entire front, we're doing a stone veneer. We've also called in our electricians to put lighting underneath. We really want to max out the texture of the stone that's going to come with the new veneer on the front of this house. So at night, the lights are going to accentuate that stone look. It's going to make this house completely stand out. It's going to be beautiful when they're done.
Here you can see that as the crews start to put up the stone, each piece is fully measured, leveled, cut and placed in proper color coordination to create an extremely aesthetic design on the outside of the home. This is extreme artisan work. The crews are expert masons and are well versed in traditional and modern masonry and classify as master stone masons. A&A only has the top crews on their jobs, and that's why you want an A&A crew working on your home.
Okay, on the front here again, you see we're just progressing right along, getting the stone veneer up there. It's looking great. The next step will be to, once it's all done, is to put the mortar in between the joints so it'll look like an actual full stone build for this house restoration. Around the garage door, you can see that we've left about a 6 to 8 inch gap. We're going to fill that with a molding that's going to really make and identify the garage door to stand out. We're also going with a different metal color, and on top of the, or below the windows on the upper level, we have a nice limestone sill to really, again, make the windows stand out. So it looks ideal. It looks as though this house was originally built this way, and it's going to look beautiful.
As you can see here, the crew take the time to make sure that where the stone meets the bay window, exact measurements are done with each stone exactly cut to match. They are also careful with what will be the stucco structure on the outside of the bay window, fully taken into account. As the crew put the stone up on the first and second floors of the home, you can start to see the design start to take shape. You can see the different colors and shapes of the stone as the crew install it on the walls start to take its form. Once finished, this will make a gorgeous eye-popping appearance for the home that will last decades.
Now we're at the final stage of the stone work. This is the final part where we're doing a tuck pointing with a piping bag. We're injecting the mortar type S mix into the mortar joints. It's going to make it look as though this is a solid stone built wall. And what Benny here is doing with a piping bag is he's injecting, it kind of looks like icing a cake. It's really artistic in the sense because you're creating something and a look. And once he's finished with this, we're going to let it sit and dry almost to a consistency of dried toothpaste, and then we're going to do what we call tooling it, or we're going to make it look as though it's a similar mortar joint for brickwork or stonework. In addition, we have the nice contrast look of the stucco that's starting to take shape. Once this color comes in, it's going to blend and pick up all the accents and colors in the stonework. It's going to look amazing when we're done. Let's watch Benny do a little work.
You can see here that Benny is carefully pointing the mortar joints of the bricks. The mortar he is using is designed for an exact, correct color match to make sure the stone really stands out and looks gorgeous. You can see that part of the skill is to make sure that the mortar stays in the joints and that none of it gets on the stone. It's very common that A&A gets called in to fix inferior pointing or tuck pointing jobs that reduce the aesthetic appearance of the stone or bricks.
Okay, we've let the mortar set. you can actually see the moisture has gotten pulled into the stone material. It's very important that we let the mortar sit and not be too soft, almost like I mentioned earlier, where it's a dried toothpaste. The reason for that is allow us to compress the mortar in, brush it off, clean it off. It won't stick or stain the brick. We get a lot of that in repair work and restoration work where we go in and we see a job that was done by someone else where they didn't take the time to let that sit and tuck pointing, and they make a mess of the brickwork. You can actually see where the work has been done, the restoration work. It makes for what we call a messy masonry. So right now, Benny is just tooling it, so he's able to, with a wire brush, he's pulling some of the mortar back to give it a three-dimensional look. He's going to brush it off, smooth it off with his slicker and his tooler, and it's going to look like a full building bed stone, like this house was built out of stone when we're done. We're still leaving the gap here where it joins and meets the stucco part because they're two different materials. Again, the expansion and contraction will be different in the freezing thawing cycles. We're going to finish that with a bead of caulking to prevent water from getting in behind the material. So whether it's stucco or stonework, it's going to be a beautiful complement. The stucco, again, when this color goes on, is really going to pull this out, the colors in the stone. And when the tooling's done, again, you're going to just see the luster and the beauty of the actual stonework.
So remember, it's important when upgrading your home that it's key to work with a top-grade contractor. You want a contractor that will put all the standard safeguards in place, as well as employ the top artisan crews to give your home the best possible aesthetic appearance. This means not cutting any corners for cost-saving measures or any other possible considerations. That's why you put your trust in A&A and let their professionals get to work for you to make your next project the best that it can be for all the decades in the future. To schedule your next project, contact A&A Masonry today.